What's up, everybody? I'm Kevin from Wondered Bliss, and I'm back at it again with another pertinent and important reminder about enjoying your damn life. I'm an artist and a poet, and I've been working and working every day at my day job to pay my bills and fund it all. But every night, I've been putting in several hours building the foundation for my future, so none of it is wasted time and all of it is valuable. But it has been drowning me a little bit. So much so I haven't recorded an episode in about 2 months. So I'm happy to be back. But it is reminiscent of a time. Here in my poetry book, What Struggle Brings, the next page, the next piece of inspiration in succession from the other, reminds me a lot of where I am right here, right now, actually. I will start it with a story, though, because it's, I think, wildly important. It's something near and dear to my heart. It's a funny little tale. But when I wrote this next prose, it's not really a poem, it's a set of prose. I was in college still, and I was a full-time art student, and I was working about 35 hours a week on top of that. And I was busy all of the time. All of the time. There was so much work to do, so many hours spent. That plus balancing social life and relationships and everything else, I was all the time overwhelmed, but I was making it through. There was this one night, though, and it was an odd series of events. I had just gotten back from my shift at work. It was probably 10 p.m. I was living in a townhouse at the time. And I'd gotten out of my car, and I had my backpack still because I had gone straight from class to work. So I'd walked around the other side of my car to grab my backpack. But when I did that, it startled me. Right off to the side, this little tabby cat ran right to the neighbor's car, was standing there right by the front wheel, and it was just looking at me. So I was grabbing my bag, and I was like, "What's up, little guy? How you doing?" And it was just staring at me. I grabbed my bag, I shut my car door, and I start walking to my front door. And this cat beats me to it, walks right up to the front door. And this is a true story, mind you. It walks right up to the front door, and it's just pacing back and forth as if it wants to go inside. I'd never seen this cat before in my life. So I was a bit confused. Who the hell are you? What do you want from me? And I stayed outside for a while. The cat was very friendly. I pet it for a second. My neighbor even walks outside, and I'm like, "Hey, is this your cat? what's happening?" And he joked with me. He's like, "No, but I guess it's yours now." And I was out there 5 to 10 minutes, hoping that this cat would just scurry off, but it didn't. It just stayed. So eventually I had to go inside. So I opened my door, and the second I unlock it and open it, the cat wanders right inside. Confused, of course. I walk inside, and I just hang out with the little guy. And he was nice. He wandered around, checked everything out. Everything was fine. A couple hours had gone by, and I was ready to go to bed. I opened up the door to try to let it out. It stays. It doesn't want to go. So maybe despite my better judgment, I let him stay. And he wandered upstairs, and he cuddled with me all night. It was kind of wonderful. All of a sudden, I just had this pet cat. It was odd. But the story gets interesting the next morning. I believe it was a Saturday, and I had a couple hours before work. I think I went to work at around noon or 1. And I'd woken up fairly early. I wake up, let this cat downstairs. I open up the door, see if it'll wander off, because I didn't really have the means or the funds to take care of a random animal now, let alone pay my landlord for the pet fees and everything else. I open up the door, the cat wanders out for just a second, turns around, walks right back inside. For some odd reason, he wants to stay. And I had a few hours to go before work, so I figured I'll just let him out when I go out, and that'll be that. But I go upstairs, and I turned on some show or YouTube video or something. I was laying down just trying to enjoy my couple hours that I had before I had to go into work. And at first, everything was fine. Everything was good. But I had a window right upstairs next to my bed. And all of a sudden, this cat starts just fucking with the blinds, hitting it relentlessly. And I'm confused why. I get annoyed. I pull the blinds up. I'm like, maybe you want to see the sun. I don't know. But I pull the blinds up and the cat sits still for a moment. But I had a pencil sitting on the window ledge. All of a sudden, the cat starts fucking with the pencil relentlessly, knocks it off onto my bed. I put it back up onto the ledge, knocks it back off, put it back up onto the ledge, knocks it back off, puts it back up onto the ledge. And at this point, I'm frustrated. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? What are you doing? And somewhere in my mind, the thought came to me, like, what? Do you want me to go outside and write? And when I said that, it was interesting. I even said it out loud to the cat. But it paused. It sat still. It stopped messing with the pencil. It was calm. But I was frustrated with the cat at this point, so I kind of just entertained my thought, and I grabbed a pen and pencil, and I'm like, all right, you're going to go outside now, but I'll go outside and write. Why not? When I sit out there, I expected the cat to just wander off now, but I had 2 chairs right there by my front door. And I sit down with my notebook, and unprompted, the cat jumped up in the chair right next to me. And he sat there with me for a couple hours as I wrote. And at that time, I had been bogged down and overwhelmed with work and life and just frustrations of everything. If you've heard most of my poetry in this book, you'll understand where my mind was. I was not in a very good place. And I hadn't felt wildly creative at the time. But as I sat and wrote, I wrote like 9 different poems and sets of prose, different things. It was one of the most productive writing sessions I've ever had. And I was kind of shocked by this because I hadn't felt very creative or inspired that morning. But yet there was something inside of me that needed to be said. But I would have stayed inside, spent my time, wasted it on some YouTube video or show, left to my own devices. It would have just been another morning. Yet it ended up being wildly productive and very insightful to me. And it was, oddly enough, prompted by this random stray cat. And it was interesting because it sat with me the whole time. After about an hour, it had gotten up from the chair and it had wandered around a little bit, came and sat down by my other side down on the ground for a long time. And eventually, as I was sitting there writing and having some, I don't know what I'll call it, meditative insights, the cat eventually got up and wandered off. And as I went to turn the corner, it stared at me, looked at me one more time. And I looked at it, and then it went, and I never saw this cat again. It was a weird moment, a weird set of circumstance that I did not expect. I did not provoke, but yet it did happen to me. And it brought me outside that morning with my pen and paper. And it changed how I look at the world in an interesting way. And I'll read it here, one of the things that I wrote. And I titled it Some Fresh Air. It's a beautiful day. It has been a while since I have sat outside for no other purpose than just enjoying it. I should do this more often, even if just for a few minutes. I think that everyone might be spending too much of their time indoors. I know I have. Of course, we need to keep a shelter and home in order to protect ourselves from the world and its coming storms. But we are made of the world, so maybe we should experience it. It feels good to just be outside. I find it funny how in art we will mimic nature and call it beautiful. when the real art is nature. Too often I choose to be locked inside, separated from it all. As an artist, I am disappointed in myself, because I have been thirsting for inspiration, but it is everywhere. I have just been choosing not to see it. These clouds are fucking gorgeous. And they were. It was maybe one of the most striking experiences that I've had, really. Looking up at the sky that day. I was in this small townhouse in a city I didn't like living in, at a time in my life that I didn't feel fulfilled in any way, shape, or form. I was bogged down and just miserable all the time. I couldn't see the beauty that was surrounding me every day, but large in part because of how I had been choosing to live. Now, granted, it wasn't a conscious thing. I had work to do. I had life to live. I had responsibilities and problems at my beck and call. Or rather, me at theirs. But I did have some spare time, here and there. A few hours to do with what I would. And I would often lay down and try to relax. Try to get lost in something else other than my life. And I would stay inside, locked away. I'd be outside, when I'm walking to my car or to class or to work, I'd be there, but I wouldn't pay attention to it. I wasn't looking around and appreciating where I was or what I was seeing. No, I was walking through it with every intention and thought about work, about stress, about life, all of my duties and responsibilities. And it had been months, maybe even a whole year at least, since I had just sat outside, just to be present. I mean, granted, I went out there to write, right? But in that came with presence. Because I didn't know what I was going to write. I just went out with a pen and paper. What was there on my mind? But it was when I looked up. Because I'd been looking down at my pen and paper for a while. Still outside, but still not fully present and aware. But I looked up right before I wrote this down. And these clouds were just striking. They covered the whole sky, and the way that the light was bouncing in the shadows, the way that they rolled over each other, I can still see it in my mind. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it was just right there, right above my townhouse. I couldn't see the horizon because it was blocked by this other set of townhomes. The only window that I could see was up and into the sky, but it was fucking amazing. And it was just there, existing, being a cloud system that was operating as the weather was changing. But I would not have noticed it had I not gone outside that morning. I would have been lost to it, just the same, as I always was. And I would have missed something absolutely fantastic. And I shudder to think how many beautiful things that I have lost or not witnessed because I was too focused on other things, too focused on stress, too focused on some fabricated sense of duty and responsibility. Now, I'm certainly not saying throw everything to the wind and don't work towards meaningful goals. That's not what I'm saying at all. And not the point, I think, of that moment. What was important is in the midst of all of it, to find time simply for presence. Find time to be lost in the world. Because this thing that we're experiencing, it can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. It can be stressful. It can be almost too much to handle sometimes. And it absolutely can feel that way if that is all you're focusing on. But it is also this magical space. It's a beautiful thing that we're here in, that we get to experience. And the closer that you look, the more magnificent it is. The web just grows deeper and deeper with complexity and wonder. But you have to be there to notice it. You have to be looking at it. And not just looking at it, but you have to be seeing it. But if you're never giving yourself the time, and I mean actually scheduling this time into your day, whether it's your day or just once a week or once a month, if that's all you have to give, I think it is so important, so incredibly important to be here. Go outside, go for a walk, go spend some time in nature. Look up, look down, look all around, see what's there. Don't be so lost in your head. And definitely don't spend all of your time inside, let alone vitamin D deficiency, let alone muggy air. Your health will actually improve the more time you spend outside. And granted, yes, be balanced. Don't spend all of your time in the sun, otherwise you may burn. Have some time indoors. Have a place to get away to. But go and explore. Go and enjoy this damn thing. Because you only have this life to enjoy it as you. What happens after we die, whether we reincarnate, whether we don't, you here now as you here now. This is your only chance to do it like that. So go and do it. This life is so much more important than all of the work that you have to do. That is important. But you're also here to live, to dance, to breathe, to sing. So go and do it. But go and be outside for a while you do it. Go touch some grass. Get lost in it. That line, it's funny how in art we will mimic nature and call it beautiful. And they'll pay big money for a beautifully done piece to bring inside, to hang on our walls, so we get a piece of nature every time we're inside, right? But you can go outside. It's right there. I feel bad for city living, who's basically been cut off. There's no trees, there's no greenery, there's just a concrete jungle. There's beauty there too. There is still the open sky. But I think it is so important. Take some time. Take a vacation. Go to a cabin in the woods. I don't know what it takes. You figure it out for you. But go there and be present with it. I think it helps to bring a notebook. It helps to solidify your thoughts to something you can go back and read, so you can remember more clearly anything that pops into mind, any realization you may have about who you are, how you've been thinking, how you've been living, what may need balancing. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't know what it'll take for you if you're caught in the same phase like I was. Like, frankly, I am finding myself in again, working and working and working. I've been better about it. I try to take some walks in the morning. But I haven't been perfect about it. I get lost in my head just as much as anyone else. There's so many things to do, so many dreams to pursue, so much work that needs to be done. But There's so much life waiting to be lived, experience waiting to be had, much of which is free. It's simply there for the taking. But if you get too pinned down by everything you believe you need to do, you will forget that this is essential for peace of mind, clarity of heart and purpose, connection with God, connection with life, the world, all of it. It's you have to be there. And you have to see it. Not just look at it, but see it. And when you do that, God, so many things become so crystal clear. If but only for a moment. So, I've said it before, go outside, touch some grass. Go experience your life. It's there waiting for you. And then come back and get back to work. Because there is that to do too. And all of it together, you can become wildly fulfilled. All right. I'll call it there for today. Because I do have more work to do. And more life to live. So, I'll see you back when I see you back.